Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. In a heartbreaking update, out of West Bloomfield, the 3 siblings who passed away in a tragic house fire on February 2nd, there's new information from the ongoing investigation that reveals the children's parents had installed locks and windows on the front door to keep one child who was nonverbal and autistic safe from wandering, a behavior that they say were advised by experts. Fire marshal reported that no working smoke alarms were found in the home. Investigations are ongoing, and officials are urging the public to check their smoke alarms and create exit plans for their family as well. So to give us a little bit more context in regards to actually parenting and caregiving for children with autism, join us right here live on the Splash from the Autism Alliance of Michigan. Here we have Dr. Colleen Allen. Thank you for being here, Doctor.
Certainly. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so first and foremost, we want to be extremely sensitive to this specific situation, but we just want to speak overall and be preemptive as well. Knowing the situation at hand, are there any specific strategies that you would recommend for parents or caregivers to ensure the safety of children with autism, particularly those prone to wandering?
Certainly. And again, happy to be here and sharing some of this important information. So what we would recommend is really a 3-pronged approach to addressing safety, especially for all children with autism, but especially those that are known to wander, of which could be upwards of 40% of the population. First and foremost, for a child who wanders, you want to explore whether a tracking device of some sort could be helpful for that child. Not every child with autism will benefit for lots of reasons, some behaviorally, some sensory, just, won't wear the lanyard, won't wear, a tag on their clothes. But that is the first question would be, is this a child appropriate for some type of GPS tracking devices? And here at the Autism Alliance, we actually fundraise and provide scholarships for families. So please contact us if your child wanders and you think they could benefit from a tracking device. Second is to create a unique behavior safety plan for that child. And that is done in concert with a professional who can really do the analysis around the types of behaviors, what the unique skills are that may be needed to keep a child safe. So that's really working directly with the family and the child. And then the third prong to this, sort of multi-strategic approach is working with community. So that is local police and fire on how they respond to children with autism and emergencies in the community. And, we've done a lot of training here at Autism Alliance. We provide to first responders on a regular basis. But we also want that family to connect with local police, to connect with local fire, so that when the address comes up in an emergency, there's a trigger for this is a family who has a child with autism living in the home. And so those are really the three best preventative approaches that may or may not have changed the outcome for this family. And I want to just be really careful. I appreciate your comments about being sensitive, because there's plenty of scenarios where all three of those are in place and a family still has to lock a child into a home or into a room for their safety. It is truly a risk-benefit scenario. And for children who are very severely impacted, many of whom are nonverbal, unfortunately, the locks are the last resort measure to keep that individual safe.
Right.
And so these are really unique, difficult decisions families make.
Yeah.
So I want to be careful with just giving broad advice and assuming somebody did or didn't do the right thing.
Understood. And I respect that as well. And with me right here live on the Splash, by the way, from the Autism Alliance of Michigan, Dr. Colleen Allen, just speaking on safety protocols, best tips and practices when caregiving or parenting a child with autism. Now, I do just, you mentioned briefly, and I don't want to hold up too much more of your time, you mentioned briefly emergency teams, emergency departments, and how they can kind of respond to this. You mentioned the family reaching out to them, but what about from their angle specifically? Are there any recommendations for training or things that you feel like they could do to possibly better equip themselves to handle situations with children with autism?
Absolutely. So our training is called Michigan Autism Safety Training, or MAST. And we've trained almost 20,000 first responders and other community workers over the past several years. So we're well versed in working with police officers and firemen and security officers and even TSA at the airport. Around, basic information. We always say with autism, a little bit of knowledge goes a long way. These are the behaviors that you can expect very broadly. Here are some basic communication strategies. Here are some things about the behavior and the sensory needs or profiles of people with autism, so that on approach or in those situations, there's at least a little bit of background on how those encounters could look. And so we would highly recommend contacting us. And we're statewide. We've done these trainings all over Michigan to contact us. And we can set up trainings that could work for individual communities.
That's good to know. That's good to know that you are a resource and statewide as well, and you've been making a difference with that. Hey, we want to thank you so much for your time. Just lastly, before we let you go, the Autism Alliance of Michigan, just give some general overview of what that does and how you can help people in West Bloomfield.
Thank you. Yes. So as I said, we're a professional statewide organization. We're serving families. We serve the community through trainings, advocacy, connecting individuals and families into the services and the supports that they need through professional guidance. And you can contact us, autismallianceofmichigan.org. It's our full name, .org. And we're happy to help individuals. And please, if you need a GPS, contact us. We fundraise, and it's to basically cover the cost of the device and service for up to a year.
Thank you. Thank you so much again for your time and your information. Once again, from the Autism Alliance of Michigan, Dr. Colleen Allen. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yes, yes. Once again, just giving a brief update in regards to the event that affected the entire West Bloomfield community, the house fire that took the lives of 3 minors. Once again, we're just revealing through the ongoing investigation that revealed the children's parents had installed locks on windows and the front door to keep one child who was nonverbal and autistic safe from wandering, and this was advised by experts as well. So just getting different perspectives on that in that case. And with that being said, recently, or I shouldn't say recently, the autism diagnosis, I should say, Camille Proctor, a resident in the Greater West Bloomfield area, she actually founded the Color of Autism Foundation to support African American families navigating autism spectrum disorders. And with me right here live on the Splash, by the way, is the founder of Color of Autism Foundation, Camille Proctor. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, especially under such short notice. Just speaking on an incident that, unfortunate incident that hit West Bloomfield. We're just speaking on the matters of safety and caregiving for children with autism. With you being a parent of a child with autism, can you just speak to some of the safety guidelines that you put in parameters within your household for your child?
Yeah, it wasn't like everything like that. So I have to go back to some of the things that you're saying. And I know you asked me a specific question. Yeah, we did have to lock things. We did have alarms on all of the doors and the windows so that we knew when my son was an eloper. And this is something that we went through. This is a behavior. That behavior doesn't start overnight. And so what we do with our organization is that we train parents on how to be responsive to the needs of their child. So because you can get all the alarms, all the trackers, all of the things, but it all kind of comes back to the behavior of them wandering and having these elopement tendencies. So when my son was an eloper, I didn't know these things. It was just like he would leave, we'd hear the bell go off, and everybody runs into the subdivision looking for him. And we were lucky that way. But through my organization's advocacy, we learned that it is a behavior. And we work with parents to be data collectors on on their children's behavior, because they kind of tip you off when they're about to leave, And in regards to this family, I have to go back. It's a cultural thing. From what I understand,
Okay.
The family, and I could be misinformed. I'm not going to say I'm fully informed. They were immigrants, and I facilitate a conference every year in West Africa. I've been doing it for 8 years. I do it in Nigeria and I do it in Ghana. And so when you look at underserved communities, there's a gross distribution of information. And so that's why the Color of Autism, we focus on training families, we focus on giving them the information, but we also focus on the cultural context of our families. We help everyone now. So we do help African American families. We help all families now because every family is unique in the cultures and the things that they need to focus on within their households. And so when we talk about elopement, especially elopement, it's important to know, again, you need to have a plan. You need to watch the behaviors because typically they do the same thing over and over again. It usually never changes. We used to call my son a detective because we had a lock on the door that had a keypad. He knew what the sequence was. So he knew to go bloop, 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 and be out the door.
Wow. So there are certain things that you have to pay attention to as far as habits, characteristics, and things of that nature when it comes to your child.
You have to be a detective. You have to watch them because they're watching you. Not only are they watching you, most of them don't forget anything. So they know your habits as well. So just like they know your habits, you should know their habits on when their behaviors become escalated, when they decide that they want to take a leisurely stroll out into the community. I mean, it's important to recognize these things, and it is important to have things like trackers and things of that nature, but a lot of kids won't wear them.
Right. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, please.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're fine. So that just brought up a few different things that I want to ask you very briefly and don't want to hold up too much of your time. So one, I just want you to talk about from your angle, how do you actually, a lot of fire departments say go over a fire plan, an escape plan with your child. Now, with your child having some of those developmental issues, how do you actually go over an escape plan, an emergency plan with your child who are facing those issues?
It's easy. Honestly, even for a child that's non-speaking, you can do what we call a social story with pictures, saying, fire is hot. You can, and even when you go through the procedures, like for example, I tell parents, you can light a candle. Don't put the child's hand near the candle, but you point to it and say, this is a fire. It's hot. It's warm. It's hot. If it's hot, we get on our bellies and we walk, go through it with them, give examples of it, but do it in a story. Do it in a story. Make them, just because you don't speak, that doesn't mean you don't have anything to say and that you can't process. And that's why, I know the parents did the best that they could, but that's one of the reasons why my organization exists, so they can do the best that they can do. Because definitely locking everybody up when you go away is not the answer. And I really feel bad that they thought that was even an option, because there are organizations out here, not just mine, there's other organizations that have really dedicated themselves to the safety of autistic people.
Right, and I do want to speak on that. With me right here live on the Splash, by the way, founder of the Color of Autism Foundation, Camille Proctor, just talking about parenting a child with autism, going over escape plans and emergency plans and things of that nature. Now, just kind of landing the plane, kind of getting out of here, can you just talk about your organization, the Color of Autism, and how you all help out different local families as well?
So we're actually a national organization, and our focus is on training and information, because like I said, the biggest problems within underserved and under-resourced communities is that they don't have the information, and there's sweeping cuts in programs. So if you don't have a program, all you have is yourself. So we focus on building efficacy in families through teaching them, like I said, how to be responsive to their child's needs, how to be responsive to therapeutics they receive. We have a dad's support group where dads can go in and talk about some of the things they face. We have a general support group so that parents can convene. We have these 5-week quarterly trainings where we introduce parents to practitioners that they can speak to with taking the wall down, so they can be honest about their feelings and their fears. So we do all of this stuff for our parents for free. Everything that we offer is free. And again, I just urge parents, if you're in Michigan and you want to participate, you just go to our website, thecolorofautism.org. All of the information is on our programs page. We welcome you to join because you need this information. If we want to build a community, and I have to say this, we need to be building a community by design. So inclusion is by design, right? And so in order for it to be inclusive, we have to be aimed with the information, especially parents, to be our child's first and best advocate. Because if we don't believe in them, we can't get the rest of the community to buy in to what we want. And we all have to face the reality is that we're not going to be on this earth forever. So we need to have a community that understands our loved ones' needs. And so we're the first step to that. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, I love that. That was a great message to end on. We appreciate you so much. Once again, from the Color of Autism Foundation, the founder, Camille Proctor. Thank you again for your time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes. So much more to keep you updated with in regards to the community and different things nationally that could be affecting you as well. We'll get into that very soon. We're live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission celebrates 4 decades of service with a look back at some of your favorite Civic Center TV programs from throughout the years.
When you realize that your house is on fire, you need to get out of the building as fast as you can.
We've got active fire on the first floor. Our crew's putting in a ladder right now.
It was a rescue call, and all of our minds were to rescuing the person trapped.
As I was leaving them, I very flippantly said to them, "Oh, I hope I don't get blown away by a tornado."
On the corner where Savoy Trail and Green Road now intersect, a 20 by 34-foot one-room schoolhouse would be built.
One of the biggest things we do in reaching out is our fire safety smokehouse. We've got a dedicated crew of guys that go to the schools and get out as much as we can.
Hello and welcome to Minute with Nature. I'm your host, Lauren Azuri. We're outside our nature room today talking about endothermic and ectothermic animals, or more commonly known as warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals.
West Bloomfield Township, a diverse community of people who live in harmony. There's beauty around every corner, on every street. There's character in each brick and shingle, and there's a history that runs strong in the veins of this community.
Join us throughout April for Civic Center TV Classics on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, and online on civiccentertv.com. And help us celebrate 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for being here. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. If you've been paying attention to the stock market, you may have noticed global stock markets have dropped significantly. This has followed the speculation and announcement of widespread tariffs, igniting fears of a possible global trade war. Will it happen? What's going to happen to your investments, your retirements? Join us right here live on The Splash is CPA and financial advisor from Bloom Advisors, Mr. Rick Bloom. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. It's great to be here.
We appreciate it. I just want to get straight into it, just a general response. How do you recommend some of the residents in Greater West Bloomfield respond to how volatile the recent stock market has been, specifically those with retirement nearby?
As difficult as this may sound, I generally recommend people don't do anything. I think it's a mistake to operate under fear or greed. When investors make decisions based upon fear or greed, they're going to make the wrong decisions. So I think that it pays for investors to take a step back and let this play through. We have a lot of volatility in the market. It's moving all over the place. And I think it's best for people to take a step back. And what I always believe investors need to do, Kevin, is invest not based upon where the market is today, but where their goals and objectives are. You know, that's the most important thing for an investor, because if someone is 20 years away from retirement, you know, this is a great buying opportunity. And so I think you need to look at your individual situations. I would tell investors, don't overreact. Don't really do anything, except maybe don't watch the news and turn off the market for a few days.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I like to say just keep it in there and just let the market do what it does. Historically, it always climbs, so just make sure you're in it for the long haul. But you're the professional. I don't want to speak on that. But
but you said it right. Yeah. You said it exactly right, Kevin. And think about this. 100% of the time that the markets have had a downturn, they've always come back. And they come back over shorter periods of time than people think. I'll go back 5 years ago when we were in the midst of COVID. You know, 5 years ago now, people were selling out because the market was down 25, 30%.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, markets already were in positive territories. Things turn around fast. And I think for investors to try to time the market, it's impossible. It really is. And people shouldn't even try.
I would agree with that, but I'm so glad you said it as the professional yourself. I appreciate the the acknowledgement too. So, you know what I want to talk about? There's been talks of a possible recession. Are we in a recession? Are we going to hit a recession? What steps can individuals and small business owners here in West Bloomfield take to protect their financial future during a potential recession?
I think that what protects investors is when they invest based upon their goals and objectives.
Okay.
Because it's not that we won't go into a recession. The real question is, how long will the recession last? We sometimes go into a recession and we're out of it before you know it. Again, COVID proved that. We were in a recession for a couple weeks, then we came out of it. So I think it's hard to predict if we're going to go into recession. The definitions change. So I think the average investor shouldn't worry about that, because what if the recession only lasts a few weeks? Not a big deal.
Good point.
I think that's what the focus should be, and it's hard when you see your accounts go down, but you have to focus on your long-term goals and objectives. And it's at times like this where investors make mistakes that really cost them for years and years. Because all too often what investors do, Kevin, they'll sell when the market's low, and then they'll wait till the market rebounds, and then they'll buy. So they're ending up buying high and selling low. And I can guarantee you that's not a prescription to make money.
Yeah. It's just an emotional reaction for the most part. For most of the spectator investors, it's just an emotional reaction.
You're so right. And I would tell any small business owner, look at your business. Would you value your business on a day-to-day basis? You would go crazy if you look at what the value is every day. And that's what people do on the stock market.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. With us right here, live on The Splash, by the way, CPA and financial advisor for Bloom Advisors, Mr. Rick Bloom. Just talking about the stock market and how we can better protect our investments, our retirements, and how we should react to it. With that being said, Mr. Bloom, I know education is extremely important when it comes to this, right? I want you to speak on it. How can local financial education or community programs better prepare residents for potential economic downturns?
Well, Kevin, we live in the greatest, richest country in the history of the world, and they never teach us about money. As a society, we do a very poor job of teaching people about money. If it was up to me, we would start when kids are in kindergarten start teaching them about personal finance. I think it's something that everyone has to do. You have to educate yourself. You have to start taking courses. The more you know, the better you'll be with your money. The problem is people never do any work on it, and they learn it from their friends who have no clue either. And they start getting into this, craziness where they're like the hamster in the wheel. They're running real fast, but at the end of the day, they're going nowhere. So I would encourage all civic groups to really make an effort to teach people about personal finance. And it's just not one time and you're done. It's something that you constantly have to refresh yourself because the rules are changing. But I'm telling you, the more you know about finances, the better your finances will be. And one thing I would tell everyone to start off with, if nothing more, to do a family balance sheet. Know where you're starting from. Know what your assets are. Know what your liabilities are. And also do a cash flow statement so you know what it costs you to live a month. Most people have no idea. They guess. You should know what it costs you to live a month, where your money's going month to month. Because if you know where your money's going, you better can control it.
Man, you said that. And once again, this is some of the things that seems like it's common sense or obvious, but it's often just overlooked. It's just often, and you gave a lot of great gems right there. And I know you're a professional. You want to get compensated for your knowledge, which you should. But just so while we have you here, any other often overlooked financial planning opportunities you think more Greater West Bloomfield residents should consider right now in our situation?
I do. I think that with the market low, Kevin, a great opportunity is for people to look at converting existing IRAs into a Roth IRA.
Okay.
What happens is, with the market down, you can convert money and pay less taxes. And the benefit of using a Roth IRA versus the traditional IRA is that in the traditional IRA, you eventually pay the tax. In the Roth IRA, that money grows tax-free for as long as you want. So people that have traditional IRAs, this creates a great opportunity to say, I could convert money, move money in a lower value into a Roth IRA, then when the markets recover, all that gain is going to be tax-free. And the other benefit of a Roth IRA is that It's not subject to minimum required distribution. So at age 73, you don't have to touch the money. You can let it grow tax-free for as long as you want. And again, even if you pass on before you take all the money and your kids or something inherit it, they don't have to pay income tax on that money as well. So I think converting money into a Roth IRA in a down market makes a lot of sense for people.
All right.
And again, I also think this is a great opportunity for people to relook at their portfolios and to see if it really reflects their goals and objectives. I find when I sit down with people, so many people just don't have a game plan when it comes to investing. They invest in what's hot, and that's a mistake. You need to be diversified. You need to spread out risk into a variety of different areas.
Different areas, different industries as well. Completely understand that, sir. And we appreciate I could ask you so many more questions, but this is why you're professional and this is why you get paid. So just to put it out there, if anyone is curious to find out more information, want to reach out to you, how can they do so, sir?
They can do it at bloomadvisors.com. Email me if you have questions, but that's our website, bloomadvisors.com.
Oh, man. Thank you again. Thank you so much for your information. Extremely valuable. I hope everybody was taking notes like I was. Once again, financial advisor, CPA from Bloom Advisors, Mr. Rick Bloom. We appreciate your time.
Thanks so much. It's an honor to be here.
Always an honor to have you as well. Like we said, just a few different tips, practices, and suggestions when it comes to how you should react to your retirement and your investments in the stock market. We'll continuously keep you updated with that. West Bloomfield Parks is hosting an Earth Day celebration at their facilities this month. And there's a lot to do and learn during this event. And this is for residents of all ages. So with me live on the Splash is WB Parks Community Engagement Coordinator, Abby Burgess. Thank you for being here, Abby.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so Earth Day, this Earth Day celebration. Why don't you just give us an overview? What can attendees expect from this event?
Absolutely. So here at WB Parks, we believe the best way to celebrate Earth Day is out enjoying nature. So we wanted to provide our residents with an opportunity to do just that. So we've got all sorts of fun, free activities. We've got a recycled craft. We've got local conservation partners with different displays. We've also got free seedling giveaways, as well as live animal interactions with our animal ambassadors. We've also got guided hikes provided by our nature staff. Those do have a small fee. Everything else is completely free, but those proceeds from our guided hikes go back to our nature room.
Nice. Okay, cool. Outdoors, hiking, good nature learning, and things of that nature. All things I would expect from an Earth Day celebration, but how does the celebration aim to educate the community about sustainability and environmental stewardship?
Absolutely. So we have different conservation partners such as OCSISMA, the Huron River Watershed Council, Priority Waste, and all sorts of different conservation partners that are active in our community. And they'll have different displays and activities for our residents of all ages just to encourage recycling right and recycling more, composting, different things like that, so that they can take those tips and bring them home and, like we like to say here, make sure that every day is Earth Day.
Every day is Earth Day. I love that. So I would imagine, maybe I'm making assumptions, that you have some sort of passion to it as well, especially with the mindset of every day is Earth Day. Can you tell me, Abby, what does Earth Day mean to you personally?
Oh, to me personally? Well, I'm an absolute huge fan of the natural flora and fauna here that we have in West Bloomfield. I think it's an absolutely beautiful landscape that we're fortunate enough to get to see every day and be out in the parks. So Earth Day to me is just a celebration of enjoying those beautiful landscapes that we're fortunate enough to be out in every day and sharing that love with everyone else here at Parks and Recreation. I think that we get to be a little bit more outside than most people, and I'm very fortunate in that respect. So just getting to share that passion with everyone in our community and share different ways that we can take those conservation efforts throughout the year.
There you go. I figured that'll motivate some other people to have some personal interest in Earth Day, in the earth, and the environment just in general. So thank you for that response in general. But from WB Parks, Community Engagement Coordinator Abby Burgess, just talking about the Earth Day celebration happening Tuesday, April 22nd, by the way. I don't remember if I asked, but I'm just looking at this flyer if you're watching on Civic Center TV. Is there a theme or a main focus for this year's events? I know there's a bunch of things going on. Is there a main focus for this?
Like we said, just taking those tips that we're sharing and taking those educational efforts with you after you leave the event. So just come with an open mind, ready to have fun and learn a little bit about how we can help our Earth.
Okay, perfect. Just want to be sure. But like we said, essentially, yes, like we said, Earth Day, eco initiatives, programs, activities, and a lot of different things going on. So if anyone else is interested, want to find out more, how can they do so, Abby?
They can head to our website at wbparks.org/Earth Day celebration. This event, like I said, is completely free, but we do ask that everyone does pre-register, whether that is the general event registration or if you are registering for one of our 2 guided hikes. But all of that information, as well as a full list of all of our conservation partners that will be available at the event, is all on our website.
Take care of our Earth, and our Earth will take care of us. Thank you again for your time. Once again, from WB Parks, Community Engagement Coordinator, Abby Burgess. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure to talk to community Earth advocates, teaching us how to take care of our home right here in our own backyard. We have so much more to get into. It is not over yet. We're going to explain other things that may affect you or some things that you may want to attend in our community. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
If a fire broke out tonight while you were sleeping, would you and your loved ones be able to get out safely? Take a few minutes to plan your escape from a fire and practice it with everyone in your household. Make sure everyone knows 2 ways out of each room if possible. Have a meeting place away from the home where everyone can meet and call the fire department from outside the home. Remember, get out and stay out. Be safe and have a great day.
Hey everybody, I'm Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, and I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on surpassing 1 million views on YouTube. That's a huge milestone, and it's more important than ever in this day and age that we have good, independent, local, reputable journalism. And I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on this important milestone. I'm Dave Coulter, and I'm proud to be 1 in a million.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for being here. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. And make sure you keep up with us on all of our digital platforms as well. We see the comments, the likes, the engagement as well. You can go ahead and scan this QR code if you're watching on civiccentertv.com right now with your smartphone, and it'll take you to all of our links. But we are on Facebook, Civic Center TV 15, as well as YouTube, Instagram, and X, the app formerly known as Twitter. We're on there as well at Civic Center TV. And of course, you can always go to our website, civiccentertv.com. The Adopt a Road program is a volunteer initiative sponsored by the Road Commission for Oakland County to keep Michigan, specifically Greater West Bloomfield roads and environment clean. And we actually got a chance to speak with Craig Bryson, Senior Communications Manager for the Road Commission for Oakland County, to tell us more about the program and its benefits to the community. I appreciate your time. Let's just get straight into it. Can you explain how this Adopt a Road program works, Craig?
Absolutely. So we ask for volunteers to come up. You adopt a segment of road. You go out. There are 3 designated cleanup periods of the year. We ask that you do at least 2 of those. It's spring, summer, and fall. We provide you with safety vests and garbage bags, some safety instructions and training. You go out, pick the date within those time frames you want to do, clean up the garbage, put it in bags, let us know. We come pick up the bags, and it's a great thing. It really benefits the environment and the communities.
Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. Individuals, groups, local individuals and groups, organizations, even businesses can come together to decide to pretty much choose a specific road. Now, is it just any road in West Bloomfield or in our community, or are there specific ones? Let me clarify that before I even go into it.
Sure, it's primary roads, which means the more major roads. It's not subdivision roads. And we actually have a map on our website that you can go to and look at the map, and you can see which roads are available in your community, which roads are already adopted. You can click on the roads if you're curious and see who has adopted them. You can click on the ones that are not adopted, and it'll show you the boundaries of the road. And then you're more than welcome to sign up to adopt those roads.
Yeah, all right, cool. That seems pretty nice, as a matter of fact. I'm glad we do have programs like this. It kind of builds that sense of community. And with that being said, let's dig a little bit more into the why people should do this. In your view, what are the most significant benefits of community involvement in maintaining our roadways and local environment?
Great question. So, the challenge is we don't have the staff and the manpower to go up and clean up the litter along all of our roads. We simply don't have the ability to do that. So this is an opportunity for, concerned members of the community to participate, to give back to their community, to try to help improve their community. And it's a really positive thing. My experience in talking to people is that they really enjoy contributing to their community, beautifying their community, keeping, waste out of the environment, which is good for the environment. Right. And it's a real positive thing. We're very, very appreciative of all the groups that do this. We put up signs at both ends of the adopted section saying who's adopted it. And frankly, that's a great way to recognize either the nonprofit groups or families or businesses or politicians, whomever it is, for the great work that they do to help beautify our community and support the efforts to keep the roads looking beautiful and their communities looking beautiful.
That's so crazy that you mentioned that, Craig, because now that I think about it, that's one of those signs that you see, but you may not really pay attention to. This road has been adopted by, and it'll say the organization right underneath that. So now we're kind of connecting dots here with that. That's how those signs end up in our community. So we should take pride in organizations, or, also give kudos to the organizations and individuals who choose to do that, by the way. Something I want to ask you, this is just out of curiosity, right? We've been experiencing a lot of different storms, severe weather, I should say, as well. And with that being said, we could see a lot of tree branches, trees itself, or even debris that end up in our streets and yards. I know in some cases we shouldn't bother those, but I mean, maybe in some other cases we should. How can local residents possibly help the road commission clean up those efforts in those areas that may be affected by severe weather?
Right. If there's a branch or a tree down in the road, please leave that to us. We don't want anybody going into the traveled roadway and putting themselves in harm's way. So please let us know, and you can do that by calling us at 877-858-4804, and we'll come out and pick those up. If there are small branches on the shoulder and you're doing your cleanup there and they're small enough to easily pick up and maybe even break down and put in your garbage bags, that's great. If they're too large, even on the shoulder, just please let us know that too, and we'll come get those. After the last couple of days of storms, we have a lot of those around. We've had a number of trees across roads that caused the roads to be temporarily closed until we could get out there and clean them up. So that's something we would prefer to do ourselves, just for the safety of the public.
Okay. Glad you explained that, Craig. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that was an obvious answer. Like, yeah, just go pick it up and go get it out the way. But we just let the professionals do it from the Road Commission of Oakland County. Thank you for explaining that. Once again, joining me right here live on The Splash, Senior Communications Manager for the Road Commission of Oakland County, Craig Bryson. Just talking about the Adopt a Road program going on in Oakland County and how we can help West Bloomfield, Greater West Bloomfield, be a little bit more cleaner and pretty, just volunteering our time. And you just explained, right, when someone chooses to volunteer, you'll put up some signs that recognizes that organization or that individual that cleaned up that stretch of road, right? I just talked about recognizing that sign, but you all really don't have to do that. It's just part of the program, and I imagine it costs to put up that sign. But just overall, how do you feel like that recognition can help motivate other people to participate?
Absolutely, and there is a cost to us, but from our point of view, that's a great investment. If we get, and we appreciate the fact those people are volunteering their own time. They're going, we're not paying them. They're getting out there by them, on their own with their own time, their family members, friends, coworkers, whomever it is, and we just really appreciate that. And that's one of the least we can do, we think, is to recognize that. We have a sign shop, so we create the signs ourselves. There is staff time to go out and put them in, but we're happy to do that. It's as I said, a small price to pay to recognize those people who are kind enough to volunteer their time to go out and do something that's for the betterment of the entire community.
I respect that. I like that. Didn't even know that you all made the sign yourself. I know everything costs, so I just wanted to further explore that a little bit more. Hey, Mr. Bryson, I appreciate you being here. Just last question to kind of wrap it up. How do you envision the Adopt a Road program growing in the Greater West Bloomfield and surrounding areas?
Well, we're always looking for new volunteers. There are still plenty of roads to adopt. We've got 586 miles of roads adopted around the county right now by 378 organizations, but there's a lot still available, and we're always trying to grow the program. The more the program grows, the more beautiful each community is, the more beautiful the county is, the less contaminated the environment is. So we want to do it, and this is a great opportunity to spread that word and to try to recruit as many additional people as we can. So great opportunity to give back.
Yeah, man, I'm excited as well for more people to get out there, especially as the weather opens up. Get out there and volunteer your time to make our community very pretty. We appreciate the time and information. Once again, Senior Communications Manager for the Road Commission of Oakland County, Mr. Craig Bryson. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
And once again, if you want to find out more information about the Adopt a Road program and how you can get involved here in Greater West Bloomfield, or if you just want to find out in general, go directly to the Road Commission of Oakland County's Facebook page at RoadComm, that's RoadComm, or go to their website, rcocweb.org. Easter is Sunday, April 20th. And some people like to take the kids out, give them something to do, enjoy their time. But now there's something to do for those who are kids at heart. A First Responders Easter Bunny event for the elderly residents of Greater West Bloomfield is this weekend. And joining me live on the Splash to give us more information is Jeff Nichols, event organizer for the First Responders Easter Bunny event. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. How are you today?
Doing just fine, And
Great.
I just want to put some more context to this, right? You are representing J&J Towing and Recovery, correct? And you're hosting this event. I just want to, just in general, for the people who may not even make the connection, why would a towing company do an event on Easter for the elderly? What inspired this?
Well, we're just trying to make the older folks feel good. It's good for, like, the first responders to go there on a positive note instead of a bad note sometimes when they have to go there. So we're just hoping to brighten their day a little bit and make them feel important.
Perfect. And before we get further into it, just give us the details, the who, what, where, when, and all that for the actual event.
It's going to be this Saturday, and we're going to have the West Bloomfield Fire Department along with several other police departments. And we're going to put the Easter Bunny in the tow truck, and we're going to deliver them to the up there in Kegel Harbor. And we're going to go inside and hand out some prizes and sing some songs and have some fun.
Nice. So with this being a family-friendly event, can you just tell us more about some of the hands-on activities or even treats that we can expect at this event?
What we're going to be doing is, like I said, we're going to be having a piano player there to do some stuff for them, and just try to. We're going to hand out some candy for them and just try to brighten up their days, try to make them feel a little bit happier.
Definitely understand. Happy to be able to even promote something like this to the community because, like you said, having the elderly residents of Greater West Bloomfield in mind, I think that plays a great role just to let them know that they haven't been forgotten, and this is something for you to enjoy as well. Have you gotten any feedback from the community yourself regarding this event?
Well, I don't know if a whole lot of people know about it yet, but obviously we're trying to put that out there. So, but yeah, we have quite a few people going. I think we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Why do you think it's important for Keego Harbor to have events that connect the first responders with the senior citizens in general?
Well, most of the time when the senior citizens see a fire truck or they see the police department, it's usually on a bad situation. So this time they're going to see us on a good positive note to where they can have smiles on their faces and enjoy the day and shake some hands and maybe give a couple hugs and make life a little bit easier for them.
Completely understand that. With me right here, live on the Splash, by the way, Jeff Nichols from J&J Towing, Keego Harbor, just talking about the First Responders Easter Bunny event happening this weekend, Saturday, April 12th, by the way. It's for the elderly residents of the Greater West Bloomfield area as well. With that being said, what impact do you hope that this event will have on both the residents who participate, the first responders, and volunteers?
Well, I'm hoping it just gives a positive note to everybody, right? That we can all share some good quality time together, and it's more for anything. It's just to make the elderly people feel comfortable and not seeing us in a bad situation, seeing us in good situations also, just try to brighten them up.
I'm going to be honest with you. Once again, I appreciate your effort because not too many people would expect a towing company to be doing things like this. I think it's good for businesses, local businesses, to do events, to just say, hey, we're humans too. We work in the community, we live in the community, and we care about the residents of this community. Well, it has nothing to do with business. This is just our way of giving back and saying thank you. So once again, Thank you again for your time. Any other message you want to give to the people, how they can reach out if they want to find out more information as well?
They can always call us. Our phone number is 248-738-3988. And it's good.
Perfect. Thank you again for your time, sir, and good luck with the event. We're hoping to send a lot of people out there to enjoy. Once again, from J&J Towing, Jeff Nichols, we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Wonderful,
Bye-bye.
Wonderful. Continuously keeping you updated with different events that you can go out and celebrate different holidays and just local things in general. We'll keep you updated with more in regards to that. Larry Pliska, founder of the West Bloomfield-based Planterra, was recently inducted into the International Plantscape Hall of Fame for his pioneering work in interior landscaping. We recently actually spoke to Mr. Pliska not only about this achievement, but about his career in general. So joining us on The Splash is the actual owner and founder of Planterra West Bloomfield, Mr. Larry Pliska. We appreciate you for being here.
Yeah, hi. Nice to be here.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, congratulations on your honor, sir. What does it mean to you to be inducted into the International Plantscape Hall of Fame?
It was a very humbling, unexpected award. And it's the gratitude that I have. It's reflecting 50 years of passion and love for what I do.
And how do you feel like this recognition ultimately reflects your entire journey that you've had with your establishment, Planterra?
How does it reflect? It just, the acknowledgement of recognition is nice to see, and it's nice to have. And like I said, it's totally unexpected. I wasn't planning on even being inducted into the Hall of Fame. But they do this once a year and for the industries. It's called the Tropical Plant Industry of the United States. And actually, it's international, too. So it is a pretty good size, big deal to be inducted.
I would agree with that. I want you to kind of take us back to the story, the beginning. What inspired you to even start Planterra in, from what I'm seeing, 1973, and talk about some of the challenges you faced while growing it.
Well, you know, I was a draftsman working for the auto company, drawing cars when I was a young guy, and when I graduated from school. And the technology called the CAD system took my job away, so I was no longer a draftsman. So I took a trip to the tropics, and I fell in love with plants. And that started my career. And the challenges weren't immediately recognized because the beauty of the plants, they sold themselves. But I certainly found out and realized how important it was to listen to my customers to provide good service to them, the best service that I could do.
Well said. Well said. And that just speaks to, you know, how you were recognized for your work and your passion and how you adjusted, shifted your careers. You know, that could have been a downfall for a lot of people, but you chose to take another direction based on your interests, and you just organically flowed to this. And that's a beautiful thing. I want you to just briefly speak on how West Bloomfield has influenced the growth and success of Planterra over the years.
Well, West Bloomfield has always been a great growth community. And the location that we are in right now was previously called Walled Lake. The original greenhouses and farm was built by the Johnson family in the 1940s. And I purchased the property back in the 1980s. And the place, you know, this environment has good positive energy and good vibes. And so that's how my company grew once we got established.
Yes, essentially the support from the local community. You also putting your love and your passion out there for people to gravitate towards it and also be interested in it, and to also, you know, hire you for your services as well in their homes, in their business. Speaks volumes. With us right here live on The Splash, owner of Planterra West Bloomfield, Larry Pliska, talking about being inducted into the International Plantscape Hall of Fame. Now, I don't want to hold you up too much longer, sir, but I do want to speak on this. Planterra is now a family-run business. What does it mean to you to see your sons continuing your legacy?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of both of my sons, Shane and Zach. They're running the family business, and they're doing a great job. And they're bringing, you know, they're providing healthy environments for our customers, which brings in fresh air, fresh breathing air, gives you good thoughts, and it provides positive outcomes of our business. There's also, you know, a spiritual sense of dealing with plants, and you know, a lot of people don't realize that our economy depends on the very ecology it's threatening to destroy. And society depends on a healthy economy, but a healthy economy depends on a healthy environment. So I've been saying this for 40 years, that the environment and health go together. And the environment is very important for us to continue our existence. So yeah, I have a lot of gratitude for my two sons that are taking over the company. And when we did the Renaissance Center, the tranquility of nature can provide us peace in our caverns of concrete and steel. And that was inspired by being inside the Renaissance Center. With all the trees that we put in, we had the flying trees, and this was back in the 70s. It was the largest interior installation of plants in the United States at the time.
Wow.
So you know, so the future of Planterra, I think, includes the growing and continue of providing beautiful environments. I mean, that's what motivated me in the first place.
Right.
Because I was just doing what I love to do, creating a nice environment for people and healthy environments with great plant designs. And throughout the metropolitan area, you'll see atriums that I planted back in the 80s and the 90s, and they're still functioning, they're still alive. We service them all. And we were one of the first companies in Michigan to start this business of interior landscaping.
Nice. Congratulations for being a pioneer in that lane and in our area and doing great work. Any last messages or words or notes for the community before we let you go, sir?
Just the fact that nature is part of our being, and we need to incorporate it as often as we can. That's about it, just live plants and interiors. Like I said, help you breathe better and help you think better, which equals good actions.
Right.
So your reaction to good actions, good actions are inspired by living in a healthy environment.
Well said.
I don't know the best way I could say it.
No, I think that was perfect. And we want to thank you again for adding that new point of view to life and talking about the importance of plants. And congratulations again for being inducted into the International Plantscape Hall of Fame. Once again, owner of Planterra West Bloomfield, Mr. Larry Pliska. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
Great information. Once again, you can read more about Larry Pliska and his Hall of Fame recognition on the Planterra website at planterra.com. And you can also keep up with everything Civic Center TV on our website, civiccentertv.com, Facebook Civic Center TV 15, YouTube and X and Instagram Civic Center TV. I've been your host, Kevin McIntosh, live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.